Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. C# 14 is here with .NET 10 rolling in, and we are already hands-on with the pre-release. Well, this drop is all about making your code shorter, sharper, and easier to read. Cleaner properties, lighter ceremonies, and syntax that does more with less. But wait, why is Microsoft doing this? Well, maybe to ease the adoption of C# among newer developers. Well, in the next few minutes, I'm going to demonstrate a few C# 14 headlines, call out its wins, so that you can decide whether you want C# 14 for your next release. Alright, so with that said, with this context set, let's jump into the video. Alright, so I'm on my Mac now, and let me open my terminal and let's check the .NET version that we have right now. So I have installed the .NET 10 pre-release version, and C# 14 is a feature of .NET 10. So you'll have to install this. I'll mention the link in the description for this installation, and you can go from there. All right. Now let's make a new project, a new console application, and let's see how we can use C# 14 into it. So I'm going to create a new directory, mkdir. Let's call it CS14, or let's make it capital CS14 demo, and let's cd into that. Now let's create a new .NET console application. Let's also call that CS14 demo. Something wrong. Okay, so .NET. I need .NET. Yeah. Let's cd into that. And let's open our very favorite VS Code editor. Okay, and now we see that very own program.cs file with just a simple hello world. Now, I have written a prompt that is going to give us some boilerplate code, and using that, we'll generate some boilerplate code from Copilot, and then we'll use C# 14 to modify it or to explore the C# 14 features. Cool. So the prompt is very simple. I've just asked it to create a new C# class called person with two properties, age and name. Both should have backing fields, and then consume that person class into program.cs, create an object of it, and then assign some values into both its field. Okay, then add another class for an extension method for my string class, the built-in string, right? The data type string. Now this extension method will just count the number of vowels in the string that we pass to it. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, nothing fancy. Okay, so let this Copilot do its job, and we'll come back to this place over here. Okay, so the person class has come up. Meanwhile, it is doing other things. Let's have a look. I've got this person class, two properties, age and name, with two private backing fields. Cool. This is what we do every time we create a new class for data access. We do this, right? And then we have the string extension class. It is a static class. This is how we define extension methods in C#. We have been doing this, I believe, since maybe C# 7, or if there was any C# 7. Okay, so but it is a pretty straightforward method. It just takes in a string, counts a number of vowels, and then returns that count. Pretty straightforward, right? Let me hit allow over here so that it could build it. Okay, so it failed. Let me change the project type, and it should ask me to build again. Okay, let's hit allow again, and it should build this time. Okay, and now it should also run it, I believe. Well, it is not. Okay, never mind. Let's keep all of this, because this is what I wanted, right? We have looked at the person class, we have looked at string extension, and then we have also looked at, okay, now the program.cs class. So Copilot knows my name, see? Nice. Now I've made this person class, then I've assigned some age, I've assigned some name, and then I'm just printing it. Okay, so now in this person class over here, I've got an age property which is actually working on this backing field called age. So every time someone asks for age, we are actually returning whatever is stored in underscore age, right? So this is my backing field. Now with C# 14, I can actually get rid of this. I don't need this anymore. So it breaks, right? No, it does not. Instead of giving a backing field that I have made, I'm going to say just return the field. That's it. Now this is the contextual backing field that C# is giving me. And the same goes for this setter over here. Same goes for name. I can get rid of this and I can just return this. Cool, right? Let's take it a step forward. I don't even need this. Okay, I don't even need this. Nice. Let's take it one more step forward. I can assign an age over here now. I can assign a name over here now. By the way, that is the name of my channel. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Cool. Pretty straightforward. We reduce a boilerplate code, right? Easy. What next? Let's come to program.cs, and over here we see nothing has broken, right? Everything remains the same. It's just a data access class that we changed over here. Straightforward, easy. A shorter syntax that is actually doing more. Cool. So what next? Now this is my person class over here, and let's say if I made this person class null. Now you see I start getting this warning that a person may be null over here. Okay, so what I would do over here is I would make a check if person is not null, right? And then I would proceed with the other two statements, right? As soon as I do this, the warning is removed from this very line. It has come to this. If I can wrap this up in a bracket, the warning actually goes out from both of these fields over here. But what if I can remove this? I don't really need this, and I could just do this. It's the same over here. Easy, right? Now I can actually use a null call string operator on my left hand side. Cool. Easy, right? The same goes over here. Now there's some problem over here. Yeah, because this is an integer type. So what we could do is so we already had this, right? So nothing new over here. But what is new is this kind of assignment operation that we are doing to this null object over here. That was not there so far. With C# 14 we get this. Cool. Life gets a little easier. But what I'm going to show you next will make things even more better and help you decide if you want C# 14 in your next release or not. Okay, so we have been using extension methods so far, and every time we said extension, it meant methods for us, right? The count vowels over here is a extension method, and if I wanted to use it, I will have to use the double braces over there. What if I could extend this functionality to properties? So when you call a method, it actually means you are going to perform an action. It doesn't feel really native to that kind of class. But what if I could add a property and use that as an extension property over here? How would that sound, right? So let's actually do this in action and let's see what comes up. Okay, so now how do I turn this method into a property now? So I've written some code. I'm going to copy paste it over here. And this is how I'll do it. And I can now get rid of this. Now let's quickly understand this. I'm saying this is an extension method, make a property called vowel count and then do the same logic we were doing earlier, right? So now it feels more native. It looks like this vowel count is a property of the string class and it is not some action that we are trying to perform on it. And so now we don't really need to specify this method call over here. So did we change the name over there? Yes, we did. Cool. So these are some of the properties that I found are pretty interesting with the new C# 14. Of course, this is just a pre-release. The main has to come out very soon, somewhere in November. And then we will get some more new cool features. And with .NET Mavi, I'm not sure what is there in .NET 10, but if you guys know, please do mention that in the comments over here. And by the way, I've got a very interesting video on WPF and I'll mention the link here in the video. And also you shall see it somewhere here, on this top coming up. Okay. All right, guys, then that is C# 14 with .NET 10. Tighter syntax, less ceremonies, and maybe a little more power. So with this, I believe Microsoft is clearly making adoption and readability fast and easier. And I believe mostly for newer devs, people coming from Python background. If you are on the pre-release too, try these features in a small branch tonight and maybe come up with your favorite feature or your highest concern in the comments. So if this video helped, hit the like button, consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. But until then, keep learning and keep thriving.